Hello, and welcome to Leading the Way, where we travel together on the path to intentional leadership, one conversation at a time. I'm Nagam Al Samari, and in this episode, I take you down a new road to an insight with an expert guest who knows what it takes to navigate the challenges and opportunities of leadership. Why, you ask? Because they have been there already. So grab your compass or whatever else you need and let set and start leading the way. Welcome to the first episode of this season and to 2025. I hope you are all set for this journey because I have a special guest with me today. I have Dr. Olabisi, and instead of me introducing Dr. Olabisi, how about we get introduced to her together? Ready for this?
Dr. Olabisi Oshikamlu is a dynamic force of inspiration and empowerment. As a devoted mother, accomplished physician, serial entrepreneur, and Maxwell Leadership Certified speaker, trainer, and coach, she has dedicated her life to helping others reach their fullest potential. Founder of Full Hands Ventures, a pioneering communication and training company, Dr. Oshikamlu transforms lives through personal and professional development. She co-runs the Empowered for Greatness Foundation, an initiative that sponsors financially challenged medical and law students in Nigeria, enabling them to pursue their dreams and give back to their communities. Her journey is a testament to resilience and courage. Let us give a warm and cheerful welcome to Dr. Olabisi Oshikamlu.
Hello, Dr. Olabisi. Welcome aboard. Welcome to Leading the Way.
Hello there, Nagam. Thank you so much for this warm welcome. And I'm excited about being your first guest here for 2025. What a blessing.
You know what? So am I. And what a great topic, too. This is the day or this is the time of year when people look at a new beginning because we're in a new year and start thinking about what's ahead, what's the future. And your topic is excellent, is very fitting for that. Level up or stay stuck.
Exactly. I love it. So let's dive in, right?
Dive in. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining today on a weekday. I'm so excited. I have, like my coach always says, I have a great meal prepared for you. So fasten your seatbelts and let's get going. This isn't just the start of another year. It's a turning point. It's a blank page. And I love new beginnings because it's a blank page. It's an opportunity for you to rewrite your story or to begin to write a story you've always dreamed of. So here's the big question. Will you take the leap? Will you level up or will you stay stuck? Think of it this way. The clock is ticking. I don't wear clocks anymore. And your future is on the edge of its seat, waiting for your next bold move. Are you ready to lead differently this year? But let's level set. I want to define leadership because a lot of times when we talk about leadership, people think about a position. As my mentor and friend, John Maxwell, would always say, leadership is influence, no more, no less. So if you're tuning in today, if you're on the show today, just know that this topic is for you, whether you're a mom, a stay-at-home mom, a teacher, a corporate executive, you are a leader if you are influencing someone. Okay? So this applies to you. So we're going to lead the way. We're going to level up. We're not going to stay stuck. And I'm going to guide you and coach you and midwife you, as people say, along the way. So, but before we dive into, I love that. So before we dive into what's next, let's hit pause and reflect on 2024, because I'm a firm believer in one thing. If you don't examine where you are now, you're not going to be able to have clarity to navigate where you're going. So we're going to pause. We're going to reflect. I want you to get out your notebook and pen or your phone, go to the notes section real quick. And here's a challenge for you. Oh, and I have this. This is my little globe. When I was growing up, I had a globe of the world. So I bought this one off Amazon last year. So every time I hold this up, it's a light bulb movement or it's a reflection moment. So light bulb moment right now.
Hmm.
What did you accomplish last year? What did you accomplish last year? Maybe you landed a big project or you strengthened the key relationship. And you don't have to answer these questions now. You just write down the questions and you can go back and look at it. What did you learn? Perhaps you learned the power of patience. I certainly learned the power of patience, and I'll tell you about it in a little bit. Or you learned how to navigate tough conversations. One of the things I learned was how to inhale and exhale before I start talking if someone like irritates or annoys me. And then I also learned to put the tip of my tongue on the roof of my mouth and count to 10. Yes, I did.
Mm.
I sure did. And then what are you most grateful for? Did a mentor help you? Did you grow closer to a family member? For me in 2024, I ended like so nicely. My son, I have an adult son, he's in his late 30s, came up to me and said, Mommy, I love this new version of you. And that just did it for me because I had spent 2024 doing so much work on myself. And when a close family member, especially your child, affirms you and they see the change, it makes a difference and it tells you that you're doing something right. So gratitude is a game changer. One leader I worked with last year started a habit of listing 3 wins every evening. Well, this year, what I'm doing and I've already started dropping the nuggets, Nagam. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we are already dropping the nuggets. So in 2025, what I've started to do is every day when I wake up, I thank God for just being alive, for being able to breathe, for
Yeah.
being able to walk, for being able to talk, things we take for granted. And then in the afternoon, I pause, move away from my computer, and just look for something that I'm grateful for. And because I'm looking for all this gratitude breadcrumbs, so to speak, throughout the day, it's been a game change. And that's what we coached this leader to do. So when she did this, within months, her team noticed her renewed energy. They noticed her positivity. They noticed her resilience. And I bet you it made a difference even in her home life. Her husband is thanking me now. And so gratitude is not fluff, it's fuel, it's your power move. So let me get my globe again. What's one win, lesson, or breakthrough you're grateful for from 2024? Let's drop that in the chat and then let's celebrate that win because we have to celebrate.
Yes, we do. We always have to, no matter how small.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's move on to what we're talking about today. So new year, and you said that when you introduced this topic, a new year, a new leadership opportunity. It's January, the air is buzzing with possibilities.
Mhm.
And I love New Year's because it's hope. Exactly. It's a season of where
Yeah.
there's just hope. Everyone loves start setting goals, they start making plans and dreaming big. But let's just be for real, as my friends would say. Let's real talk now. 80%, the statistics are there, 80% of the New Year resolutions and goals and vision board planning fail by the end of February.
Mhm.
Yes, I did tell you that. Go to the gym now and look at how packed it is. And then go back in February and come back and tell me what you see. Resolutions fail because intention without action is just a wish. Intention without action is just a wish. And later on, we'll talk about intentionality, which is the verb. So the intention is a wish, but the intentionality is the verb, right? It's a doing word. So building habits and putting action around what we're doing is what causes us to level up. And that's where the magic happens. So here's the exciting part. 2025 is your choice. You can make a choice to either level up and ride the escalator up to the penthouse or stay stuck on the ground floor. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Let's get out of we won't stay in the same routines. We will rise up to meet new opportunities. We won't coast. will claim our potential as leaders. A client of mine, let's call her Monica, and I'll sprinkle in some of these stories and these examples as we go along.
Yeah.
She was in the exact same spot last year and again. She felt stuck in her leadership role, and she was constantly saying, well, this is how it is. This is how it's going to be. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. And at Full Hands Ventures, we inspire people. So we worked with her and we talked to her about clarity and goal setting and affirmations. And she decided to take ownership of her growth. And I can tell you this, she joined a mastermind group. She started tackling different difficult conversations, which was her opportunity, was a gap that she had. She started tackling difficult feedback, and she not only grew, but she inspired her entire team to aim higher. And as John Maxwell says, many people don't lead their lives, they accept their lives. And that's powerful. That's a really powerful statement. So the real question is, how are you leading your life this year? Or is life leading you? Is life grabbing you by the collar and pulling you along? Or are you leading life to where you want to go? It's your choice, right? It is your choice. So let me get my globe again. Another light bulb moment, right? You're standing imagine this, you're standing at the edge of a cliff, and behind you is the comfort of a familiar, and in front of you is the unknown. Taking the leap feels scary, and leveling up can be scary. But the only way to discover what you're capable of is taking that leap. Write that down. I let me use myself as an example. For years, I was terrified of public speaking. I remember I would ask my friends who were
Right there with you.
exactly. I would ask my friends who were in corporate positions or who I would see just speaking, like, how do you do that? How do you just show up and you don't seem afraid? Your heart isn't racing. And that's not to say my heart doesn't race occasionally. It still does, but I have the confidence.
Yeah.
But and I would have avoid opportunities to present. I would avoid opportunities to speak up during calls, and it stunted my growth. It stunted my ability to level up. So it put a lid on where I was, and I really wasn't unleashing my full potential. And that's what happened when people get stuck. But with coaching, with mentorship, with accountability, I started speaking up on internal calls at work. I started doing podcasts like I'm doing now. And we'll talk about some of the barriers to people moving into this space. I wasn't trying to be perfect. And so what has happened to me? I got noticed at work. I was tapped to lead workshops, at company retreats, tapped to do just bigger roles and bigger things. And my confidence has skyrocketed. It's not pride, it's just confidence. I've gained visibility. I'm
I
on your
love that
podcast.
distinction between pride and confidence. I love it.
I've gained visibility, and my colleagues seek me out as a trusted advisor. I'm on your show because a common friend, someone we know, said, oh, let her come on your show, right? So that's what speaking up will do for you. So I'll ask you this. Will you stay stuck because of fear or some of these other limiting things? Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. I hate it when I do that. Or will you level up? Staying stuck is a choice, and leveling up is also a choice. So let's talk about leveling up. Leveling up, I really believe, is synonymous with growth. You have to grow to level up. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It takes work. I know some people don't like me right now. I'm closing my eyes so I don't see you. Because they're like, oh my God, ouch, what did you just say? Okay, let me talk about the 3 zones of growth before we start talking about barriers and what we need to do. So there's the comfort zone. This is coasting. This is where it's same old, same old. I call it the insanity zone. And if you're on the call, if you're listening in, What is insanity? I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. But most of us do that. We go to the same job every day, day in, day out. We're going to the same job. We're not leveling up on our skills. AI is out there. We're not trying to learn AI. We're not trying to go get that certification that we need to get. We're just coasting. We're
Yeah.
on autopilot mode. And it's insanity. It's like a computer that looks like it's plugged in, but the battery is really draining. And then all of a sudden you're in the middle of an important meeting, and the battery and the computer dies. That's what the comfort zone does to you. It's just
Wow.
a dead zone, a
Wow.
dead zone. And I don't want to be in a dead zone. And then the second zone that is popularly called the comfort zone. I mean, the discomfort zone. I don't like using the word discomfort, because comfort signifies that, okay, you're comfortable. And then discomfort, and I just lost my earpiece. Discomfort signifies that you've taken you're removing comfort. And we want you to be comfortable to a certain extent, but we don't want you to stay there. So I call it the challenge zone. Think of the first
Mm.
time, if you're a runner, you ran a 5K or you took on a new work project. It's uncomfortable. But what happens? Or an exercise, or if you're in an exercise program. I was
Mm.
walking with a close friend of mine, and I hope he's on the call tonight listening to this. We went to the park during the holidays, and we walked in the park, and he is huffing and puffing like he was going to pass out. And then we went the next day, and he was able to comfortably go around that track. That's what the challenge zone is all about. It's getting out of your comfort zone and doing the hard work. It's uncomfortable when you start, but when you come out stronger. And then as a scientist, we know that it creates new pathways in your brain, what we call there's neuroplasticity. So
Yeah.
your brain is creating these new pathways that cause you to be creative, to be innovative, to be
Hmm.
resilient. I know you talk a lot about resilience,
Yes.
Nagam. So to be resilient, right? And so the challenge zone, and that challenge zone is what helps you to grow. That challenge zone is what will help you to level up. And then there's the burnout zone. The burnout zone is when you push yourself too far, too fast without rest. And I'm a physician, I'm a pediatrician, board certified pediatrician by training. And I don't want you in that burnout zone. So there has to be a balance to everything. We have to take time for fun. We have to take time for mindfulness. We have to take time for reflection. We have to take time to heal. So the sweet spot, as my coach, Dr. Koku, would say, is in that challenge zone. Uh, and also having a balance to where you don't burn out and you're still comfortable, but you're challenging yourself and you're releasing that creativity, innovation, and resilience. So back to my globe. Which zone are you in right now? Drop it in the chat box or write it down. Which zone are you in right now? And what one step will you take to move forward? And I want you to break it down in terms of your faith, your family, fun, finance, fitness, and career. I'll go over that again. Faith, family, fun, finance, fitness, career. Because that way we have a holistic approach. It's not
Mhm.
just, we're not just thinking about, oh, my career. And this is where talking about balance, people get out of balance. They focus on their career and then they miss out on their family life. There has to be a balance. Okay, so let's tackle some things. I'm looking at my time. Oh my goodness, the time is going so fast. So, what are some things that keep us stuck? Recognizing the things that keep us stuck will help us to break the barriers. And I'll go through them real fast because I want to go to the action items. The first thing is disempowering beliefs. Empower, the word empower is to give power. And then when you say disempower, it means removing power. And the chief culprit when it comes to disempowering beliefs is, excuse me,
Mhm.
you. That voice in your head that's saying, I'm not ready, I can't speak in public. I'll fail if I try. That's that, I call that a lying voice. If I walked up to you, Nagam, and I would never do that, but if I walked up to you and I said, "Oh, Nagam, you don't know what you're doing, da da da, you're this and you're that," and whatever negative things that I want to say, you would be like, "Excuse me, Olabisi, are you okay? What's going on here?" But day in, day out, we do that to ourselves. We tell ourselves all these bad things about ourselves. So if you won't tolerate it from yourself, why would, I mean, from someone else, why would you tolerate yourself calling yourself a bad name? Let me get my globe out. Boom, light bulb. So what we need to do is shift from calling ourselves names and start speaking to that voice and saying, I am what the voice, when the voice says you're not experienced enough, say, I'm not experienced enough, but I'm learning every day. That small mindset shift will transform your life, it will transform your career, it will transform your team, and it helps you to level up. Then the next thing that we do that's a barrier is that keeps us stuck is trying to be perfect. I love the Nike slogan that says, just do it. Just do it. Nobody is perfect. The only perfect being is God. So why do you want to be perfect? Perfect doesn't exist. And then the third, and then I'll tell you about the fourth one, is wanting to be perfect, waiting for the perfect moment. That doesn't exist either. You have to start. Just jump in the water, jump in the river. There's a song that says jump in the river, and then comparing yourself with other people. The only person you can compete is with yourself. And newsflash, nobody cares about you. Nobody's looking at you. Everybody's minding their business. Everybody's trying to figure out what's in it for them. So stop it. So this year, let's talk about leveling up real quick because I'm looking at my time. Leveling up your leadership is not just about setting goals. It's about acting on them. It's a verb. It's about acting on them with purpose, because success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in, day out. And so I've come up with what I call the I am framework. What's in this framework is not new. I love acronyms, so I came up with the I am framework so I can remember. And the I as in India, A as in Apple, M as in man, is intentionality. Great leaders don't leave their growth to chance. They plan for it. The discipline of planning is the bridge between where you are. Remember, we looked at 2024 is the bridge between of where you are and where you want to be. So what you do, this is how you lead with intentionality. You start your day with purpose. We talked about gratitude. You begin your day with gratitude. Gratitude sets a positive tone. It helps to keep you grounded. And then you set SMART goals. And I know some of you are saying, oh my goodness, I already know what SMART goals are. People talk about them every time. Oh, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. I know you know, but the principles never change. And if you know, why are you still stuck in 2024? Why are you halfway through January and you're already backsliding on some of your goals? So make your goals specific. Commit to, and so instead of saying something like, I'm going to level up this year, I want to grow as a leader this year, say something like, I will complete 2 leadership training courses by June 30th, and then build a plan around it. And then commit to daily growth, whether it's reading for 15 minutes, or if you're driving in your car to work, listening to a podcast instead of scrolling through social media, practicing or learning a new skill, upskilling if you're on a job, and just making small, consistent actions that compound over time. It's like an investment. When you put money in an investment every month or every week, or it grows, it compounds. So doing that, and then blocking time for what matters, adding intentional growth activities to your calendar. So for instance, dedicate 30 minutes, 20 minutes a week to learning or networking. And so my challenge for you is this: write down one intentional step you'll take today to lead with purpose. Again, success is a sum of small efforts repeated daily. And then let's go to the A real quickly: accountability. Leaders thrive when they're surrounded by others who inspire and challenge them. Find an accountability partner. I did that last year. Her name is Dr. Ayo Adenuga. And I partnered with her. We meet every week, once a week, to share our goals, to check in. And the numbers don't lie. People with accountability partners are 95% more likely to achieve their goals. 95% more likely. So accountability will help you to level up. So get somebody you can trust, get somebody who's doing the same thing or has the same mindset as you have. And the network, if you don't want to stick with one person, join a mastermind group or leadership cohort or professional social group, and then create feedback, get feedback from people, get feedback from your team, because leadership is not about being perfect, it's about being open to learning and improving. And so a challenge light bulb question is this: who can hold you accountable for your growth this year? Reach out to them at the end of this podcast. And then lastly, measurability. You can't improve what you don't measure. Measuring ensures that you stay on track. So that way you can
Mhm.
track your progress. I have a journal here. I actually got this from CVS at the beginning of the year. And what I like about it is that it has today's date. Today I am grateful for
Mm.
top priorities, events and appointments. It has my mood during the day, how much water I drank, my wellness, and today's review. And I can put that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. So track your progress. And every time you hit a milestone or a marker, celebrate your wins, because when you celebrate, it helps to improve your mood. It helps the productivity of those around you. And it just makes for overall, it makes your team stronger. It helps you to create. And so let's recap. And I'm kind of rushing because I'm looking at my time right now. Your leadership legacy begins today in 2025. You can level up. First of all, you reflect and lead yourself first. You pause, you assess, and identify where you are. And we did that in the beginning. And then you want to break through barriers, reframe and rewrite disempowering beliefs, and start speaking well of yourself to yourself. Because if you value you, you will value others and you'll add value to them. And prioritize progress and reframe failure. And then embrace the I am framework. Lead with intentionality, accountability, and measurability. And so, my challenge to you is this: 2025 is your choice. Will you level up and stay stuck? Imagine yourself next year bold, strong, progressive, purposeful, courageous. This is your time. This is your year. Ready, set, and let's go.
Awesome. Awesome. I went to a conference a couple of months ago, and one of the breakouts was about creating a visioning board. And I absolutely love the activity because what it asked me, the presenter asked me to do, or asked everyone to do, is to envision themselves in a place they want to be.
Mm.
And obviously, you'd have to take action to create this happen, to make this happen for yourself, right? But in having that vision to begin with set forth is really important. Brainstorm it between yourself and you or your significant other or somebody else in your network to get started. That I think that's a great point that you brought, Dr. Olabisi. And not there's so many things that here I have written down that I want to ask you and talk to you about, and there's some questions too from the audience. I want to go back to um the leadership. I loved how you started out with leadership isn't having a rank or title, it's having influence. I want to kind of use that instant to talk about self leadership, because a lot of times, whether rank or no rank, leaders, people who call themselves leaders, forget that there's a really important aspect to leadership, and that you have to have self leadership. Um, what do you think about that? What can you offer on that topic?
Yeah, you're completely right. For years, I thought that leadership was, I'm originally from Nigeria and I grew up in Nigeria, even though I wasn't born in Nigeria, but I grew up in Nigeria. It's a country in West Africa. And the way that I learned leadership, and hopefully it's changing, the way I learned leadership was that I'm an authority. I tell you what to do and you do it. If I say jump, it's how high.
Mm.
But joining the Maxwell team has taught me that, as you mentioned, it's not about your rank or title. And you have to lead yourself first. A lot of we want to tell everybody else what to do. And that's where the I am framework comes in. You
Mhm.
have to lead yourself with intentionality. So you have to say, these are the things. I'm going to set goals. I'm going to be grateful, first of all, because when you're happy, it spills out into every area of your life. So gratitude
Yes.
is the fuel. It's really the powerhouse. So you start with you having an attitude of gratitude, having a posture of gratitude, having a vision. Let's even go to vision,
Yeah.
because we mentioned vision. There's a saying that people perish because of lack of vision. Where there is no vision, if you don't have any vision, you can lead people, you can show them the way, you can teach them the way. So you have to imagine in your mind where you want to go before you can even get people to where they need to be. And so
Yeah.
it really just goes back to you leading yourself, imagining, being intentional about the things you want to do, being accountable, having people who can chin check you, as we say, and then being able to track those things, because sometimes we think we're doing good in an area and we're not.
Yeah. Yeah. And very well said. And I think a lot of people get this idea of having somebody to follow, waiting for someone to tell them what to do, from, being a child at home with your parents, waiting for them to tell you, or growing up, going to school, teachers there to tell you, go to college, same thing, go to work, you have your boss. And then you forget that you're the first person who you should be listening to. And I think somebody was talking about this in the comment, is that um that there is the intentionality aspect, that you have to do things with intentionality, and you have to lead yourself by growing yourself.
Yes.
You have to be the first learner in everything, to in order to to be able to have followers, people
Yeah.
follow you.
Let me give you
So
an example real
yeah.
quick. I'm a pediatrician, and if you brought a child into my office, let's say the child is a year old. If you look at a newborn and you look at a child who's a year old, by the time a child is a year old, they should at least be attempting to walk, standing to walk,
Mhm.
or walking. We're transitioning them off from breast milk or formula to whole milk. They're saying a few words. They're making eye contact. They're able to sit without support. If that child is not doing any of those things, the parents will be alarmed. They will go berserk, and I will go berserker. So if you think about it that way, as a parent or
Mhm.
as an adult, what makes us think that we have the right not to grow if we expect our children to grow, or if we feel that growth and development is part of life? And that's where people get stuck in that zone, the insanity zone.
Yeah.
Other people call it the comfort zone, but it's the insanity zone, because it's just you're on autopilot doing the same thing and with no change. Who does that?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
have to really begin to think sometimes. It's I'm not being accusatory. It's just that I had to come to that realization a couple of years ago. And this podcast and what the great work you're doing serve to challenge people to say, hey, let's frame this differently. Let's think about this differently. Let's ask questions and come up with some answers.
You know, speaking of going out there, trying to learn, doing the legwork yourself, right? Because you're trying to educate yourself. I want to share something, and then link it back to something you had said about the different zones. Um, Years ago, I had the mentality of, I can't really step up until I have earned this degree, or
Mhm.
read all of these books or have this much knowledge, and it kept me really bound in in that one spot. And it took a lot of I'm not going to attribute this to myself. It's not the courage that I had. It's my husband pushing me and seeing, the leader in me before I saw that. um but that really opened up my eyes. It was a very tough experience, but I learned that. And back to what you said, you were saying earlier, is that you step in, you push yourself to step in, and then you learn the things that you want to learn from that experience you're going through. Because the comfort zone, and going back to your talk about that, is if you're in the comfort zone and you know everything, you can also be stuck in the comfort zone trying to learn everything before you step out of it. What what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, there's three parts to this. What you said, and just for the listening audience, is not strange. Actually, last week, I had a conversation with a colleague of mine. She's a medical director, doing very well, high achieving woman. And I have an MBA. I'm from Nigeria, so I have MD, MBA, CP. I have all these degrees. I have more degrees than a thermometer. And so she was getting bent out of shape because she was like, should I go and get this degree so I can
Yeah.
get here? And I said to her, I said, why don't you step back? Look at your achievements on the job, package that properly,
Yeah.
and get a mentor, get a sponsor, somebody who can speak well of you when you're not in the room to move you forward. That's
Hmm.
important. A lot of times we're running after all these degrees and getting out of balance. And
Yeah.
there are people who just collect all these degrees and don't. I've done something with mine, but I'm not even using my degrees now because I'm more into speaking, communication, growth, and leadership. But it is what it is. But you also need to get, this goes to the A, accountability.
Hmm.
I love what you said your husband did for you. He saw the potential in you before you saw the potential in yourself. So we need people like that,
Hmm.
cheerleaders, people who would tell us, look, you're good, you're great. Before I came on the show, I was telling my sister, for example, oh my God, I've written my script 50,000 times. I've, just gone. And she's like, you'll do fantastic. She told her
Yeah.
friends, shout out to all friends, family members, friends who are on this, who are listening in, told her friends. I've had my friends text me. My accountability partner has texted me to say, so you need those people.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, the statistics that shows 95% of people who have accountability partners actually reach their goals. And then you need a mentor. And this is not my book, so I'm not trying to sell a book, but this book is by your mentor, my mentor, Dr.
Hmm.
Mike Koku. Actually did a recording yesterday on the advantages of mentorship. He told me he's going to have you on his show too. Because mentorship, him being a mentor and a coach, has changed my life, my personal life, my professional life, because it provided inspiration. I was able to get feedback. I get the support that I need. He's going to debrief. We're going to do a debrief on this show. What I did well, what I didn't do well. It's motivated me. It's caused me to grow, and it's enlarged my network. I met you through him. There are several people on this call that I met because of that networking. So that's important.
I
I
a
hope I answered the
hundred
question.
percent. I'm 100% believer in that, and I I'm in the process of learning this as we go. And the other thing too that you mentioned, which is absolutely amazing. I think you were talking about yourself, about being confident, not what's the other word that you used?
I
Um,
can't remember.
not conceited or something like
Oh
that.
no, confident but not prideful. Because
Not
sometimes,
prideful.
yes,
Yes.
sometimes people mistake your confidence and, oh, I don't even want to go into it. This in the past year and a half to 2 years, I have lost a lot of friends because I'm showing up in a way that I've never shown up. And
Hmm.
my confidence, according to Coach Prime, has made people uncomfortable. But my confidence is not pride. It's just been, I've done the work.
Yeah.
My confidence is competence. I'm
Yeah.
competent. And so that's caused me to be confident. And also, I've stepped out of trying to be perfect or to please people. I'm just walking in who I am. I'm just walking in
Hmm.
my skin.
Listen, I congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
When your confidence causes you to lose certain individuals in your circle, I congratulate you on that, because you
Amen.
haven't really lost anything.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
I lost the weight. I lost the weight around my waist, and I've
yeah,
gone from
there
the
you go.
ground floor to the penthouse.
There you go. That's a perfectly put. But walking with confidence, because you have the competence to do so. And unfortunately, some people walk with confidence without the competence. They just have the potential to act that way. But that's what I want. Not what I want to talk about. I do want to talk about bringing your authentic self to no matter what situation. I mean, yes, we you and I both kind of speak in the same arena. We talk about leadership, in different aspects of leadership, and I share the same anxiety with you before in the past when I had problems actually speaking in public. I had to get work on that, practice that to get rid of it. Is it all gone? Absolutely not. I still have some of that. But again, you have the it factor to bring it, to bring that confidence. One thing that I always mention, I'm a learner. No matter what stage in my life, I'm a learner, and I'm going to continue to learn, and I go with the flow. If something goes wrong on this podcast, I'm going to point it out. My eyes are all over the place because I'm a solopreneur. I do everything myself. I'm looking at the comments. I'm trying to play the banners, and that's how I roll. And that's how I show up with my authentic self, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And that's really my take on people who may say, well, what if this happens, or what if that happens, what if something goes wrong? I'm sure you've been there yourself.
Exactly, absolutely. And I like what you said about just bringing it. It just comes. Just do it. Again, I really
Yeah,
love that
love
Nike
it.
that Nike slogan. Just do it. I don't know what to tell anybody. Just do it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
believe in yourself. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and will urge you on. Get rid of the extra dead weights and dip your toe in the water. Just one step, one baby step at a time. One of the things I used to like saying before was, I'm putting one foot in front of the other, and
Yeah,
I'm stepping down flat foot with my feet planted firmly on the ground.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it gets better
absolutely.
with time. And then it speaks to the neural pathways that I talked about. And this is science, where when you step out of your comfort zone into your challenge zone, you actually, your brain, things begin to happen in your brain. The brain has this, what we call neuroplasticity.
Mhm.
So those neural channels begin to expand and grow, and that's what helps you to be able to do new things. That's what helps you to innovate. That's what helps you to be
Yeah.
creative. And if you notice, when you're stressed, not stressed out, but when there's a little bit of stress or challenge, you begin to think up ways and ideas, and things just keep happening.
Mm.
If you think back to growing up or even being in school, when did you have the most success? When were you most successful? It was in a challenge that
Mhm.
growth came, or good
Yeah,
came, or ideas came.
yeah,
And so that's
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. We I mean, we spend our life trying to run away from challenges. We do not actually understand. If we had the understanding at a younger age that this is when we actually learn and grow and wisen up and make better decisions, then we would start loving the challenges.
True.
But that's how we are, unfortunately. But this is not to say that it's ever a late time to start. It's
No.
never too late to start.
It's never
Um,
too late to start. And I'll tell, and women don't like saying their age, but I'm going to say my age. And I'm saying my age because I believe that there are people on this chat or this YouTube, this show, who are probably saying it's too late for me. I'm 62 years old. I didn't get it. I've been successful in my career, but I didn't get the leadership and growth and development thing until about 2 years ago. And if I can do it,
Wow.
You can do it too. It's never too late. It's never too
Wow.
late. You can start, you can keep kicking, you can keep moving. Let this be your 2025 is your year for ready, set, go. And if you need me to kick you in the butt, I'll kick you in the butt.
I love it. I love it. And your comment about networking and finding finding the right partners. That's one thing that I found was really helpful. Facebook groups that
Yeah.
have shared interests, LinkedIn groups, different places. Where else have you found accountability partners or groups that has helped you along the way, other than the ones that I mentioned?
So Facebook, LinkedIn, at work.
Hmm.
I at work we have like several groups. We have, so for example, we have a Black colleague resource group which I've joined uh, as a physician, the American Academy of Pediatrics. There are just so many groups out there. Actually, if you go online, you can go to meetups and
Hmm.
type in local, whatever your interest in
Yeah.
is. We're in a day and age where honestly there's no excuse. You can look for things and then you can vet those things, because also you don't want to end up in some weird group that's not that doesn't align that doesn't
That's
align with
important.
your values.
That's very important. Speaking of that, meetup.com, I think, is one of the places where you can go and find different groups that meet for different purposes. Or even I found events on Eventbrite and all events and all of
Yeah,
that
I've done that too. Yeah,
that
that's a
meet
good one.
virtually. Yeah, yeah. I want to go back to your tip of the tongue, your tongue at the top of the roof. You have to demonstrate.
Okay, I
Okay,
have
what
to show you that. Okay, Nagam.
and
Okay, let
tell
me get
me.
my globe out because this is a
Well, and tell
light
us
bulb moment.
when do you use that?
Okay, so when do I use this? I'm going to copyright. No, it's no. I'm just kidding. I'm going to trademark this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I use this when I have to bite my tongue, because I tend
Mhm,
to, and my friends, I have friends on listening on the show. I tend to just say what I feel and just say it like it is.
mhm.
And so when I need to keep my mouth shut and I'm really wanted to say something, so this is what you do. So you take the tip of your tongue, and you
Mm.
put it on the roof of your mouth or your hard palate. So I go. If you try to talk, you're not going to be able to talk with with that.
Mm.
So,
Wow.
and I count to 10. And then by the time I get to 10, I've de-escalated
Mm.
and I'm
Nice.
back in the moment. And that has helped. That has saved me a lot of times, especially at work when I'm on calls and people are saying things they're not supposed to be saying. And I want to say something back, but I don't want to lose my job.
Wow, I should have
I'm
learned
having
that a
too
long
much
time ago.
fun. I'm having too much fun on this show.
So am I. You're hilarious. No, I needed that tip a long time ago. Where were you?
Oh, you could still use it. It's not too late. Remember, we said it's not too late. It's never too
I,
late.
I'm just
Just
thinking
do
of
it.
certain scenarios in my head that happened a long time. Oh, I like this one. Someone said, "Nice tip to calm down and not talk impulsively, Doctor." And I'm assuming Doctor.
Yes.
I didn't.
Adenuga. And that's my accountability partner.
Oh, amazing,
24/7, 52 weeks in the year accountability partner. Thank you, Dr. Ayo.
amazing. Thank you for joining us on the show. And please, anyone on, if you have questions or if you have tips of your own that you have tried and would like to share with everyone else, as I always say, it's not about learning by yourself and keeping it to yourself. It's a community of learners where we all share the knowledge and share the leadership together, and that's how we learn the best, a lot better than just doing it by yourself and keeping it to yourself. I want to go back to your I am. I love that, by the way. I was trying to guess the M, and I made a good guess. Measurement. Um, the note you made about the SMART goals. I hear that a lot. Having being someone who also teaches about leading with intention, excuse me, and setting goals and purpose, I get the, oh, I know about the SMART goals. Oh, I've done that before. It hasn't worked. Um, One thing that I recently learned, I was listening to a podcast, and now I can't remember the name of the person, the gentleman who was who was doing the hosting the podcast, but he said you could have all the goals in the world, but if you don't have a system to initiate the goal, to follow through, to consistently do, no goal is going to help you out.
100% agree. 100% agree. And I don't even mind speaking to that. You have to have a plan. I talked about SMART goals on this podcast, but I love the whoop. Everybody that I've ever talked to knows I like whoop. So it's what's your wish? What's the obstacle to the wish? What's the outcome that you want? And what's your plan? So you have to have a plan.
Yeah.
And that's where intentionality comes in. But let me just break down the plan, for example. So for example, if I decide that I want to, we'll use exercise because women and men, we're always talking about exercise. I want to exercise at night before I go to bed. I will put out my sneakers, my gym clothes, and everything, so that when I wake up in the morning, I put that on, and then I'll plan to go to the gym or do whatever I want to do. So I come up with a system, or if I want to read, I want to read a book, or I want to write a book, or whatever I want to do. I'll say I'm going to do bite sizes. I will every day between 5 and 5:15, no interruptions. I'm going to read 3 chapters. No, let's start with 1 chapter of this book. Once I've read the 1 chapter, I will write a summary. So you have to have a plan.
Yeah.
If you don't have a plan, it's just a wish. It goes back to your being in the noun. Oh, that's right. Intention. Whereas intentionality is the verb. So you're doing these things. You start out with gratitude. You set out the goals, and then you come up with a plan as to how to do it. And that's where, again, the accountability. Have someone you're accountable to. And then how are you tracking this?
Yeah.
So if I say by January 30th, I want to go to the gym 3 times a week. So 3 times a week. So I have that down. And then at the end of the week, did I go 3 times a week? And who's going to hold me accountable to that? And when I do that 3 times a week, I'm going to celebrate it. I might have ice cream that, on the weekend, but just a little bowl of ice cream to celebrate that win. So it's just doing things. It's a check and balances, rewards system, accountability system, and it works. The people who say it doesn't work is because they haven't done it. If you work the system, it works.
Yeah, they haven't done it, or they have huge goals that are not broken down into smaller bite-sized steps that you can actually accomplish. And I tell you this because I used to be that person.
Me
I used
too.
to have this great goal, but I don't know how to start. I overwhelm myself just by looking at it, thinking about it.
Love that word.
But
Yeah.
it takes taking it, breaking it down. What can I do now? That's how I started looking at things. What's in my control? What can I do now?
I like that.
Helps me move forward. And if I move forward, I feel much better about myself. And then I move on to the next item.
That's great. I like that. That's true.
And you've got some shout outs here. I don't know if you saw this one, and then this one right here. I just want to make sure you saw that.
I'll probably do a recap. Go watch this later on, because again, authenticity. I don't even want to touch a button on my screen because I don't want to stop the broadcast or mess with this technology.
I love you.
I'm just like, look, I'm sitting like this. I'm not moving my chair or anything of the sort.
Wow, amazing. Well, these podcasts, it's not just about having the host and having the guest. It's having the people that come and share their thoughts and their wins and what they've done, their difficulties and their plans for what comes next. And this is why I find it important that it's, I have to be looking at these comments and making sure that I I give the shout out to the people that it deserves. And I just got another comment right here. I love that. Wow. The verb which is doing. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much for everyone that joined us. And this has been such a great time that I have other questions, and I think I need to book some time with you after the show so we can talk more.
That would
Um,
be great. Happy to
you
do that.
share, yeah, you have such wisdom, and I have a similar story to yours as well. Starting later in life, not yet 60, but I admire your work. I really do.
Thank you
Um,
so much, Nagam. Same here. As I mentioned, Dr. Koku speaks very highly of you, and it's really been an honor and privilege being on your show.
Thank you so much. I'm really, I don't know how to take compliments, just so you know.
Ah, just
um,
receive it.
but this has been such a great start to 2025. And honestly, even if it's not 2025, even if it's not January, I think every day is a new start. We wake
Yes,
up in the morning, we have the sun up or the clouds, but the sun
yes,
is still there, right?
yes.
We're breathing. Um, this is every day is an opportunity to be grateful. Every day is an opportunity to level up your skill and to move forward, to find the what's next. I don't think that we need a timeline. What do you think, Dr. Olabisi?
I agree 100%. I love what you just said. In fact, my devotional on January 1 said that every day, every week is a new beginning. This evening, the moment 6:58 is a new beginning. It's a new
Yes.
start. So
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I could not agree more. And leveling up does not need to wait to you could start at any time. 62 is an amazing age to start after having all these accomplishments, with all these degrees. You reinvented yourself as a leader, as a thought leader, and you're helping other people become leaders. And that is absolutely amazing. Such a great accomplishment. It's been an honor having you on the show.
thank you
And
so much.
somebody suggested a part two, and I'm thinking about this. This is a great idea because we
Great
have so much
idea,
more.
great idea. I'd love to come back. And I wanted to add something too. That just thought as you were speaking. If you fall down, get back up again. Falling down doesn't mean falling down is just an opportunity to learn from what happened, what made you fall. Get back up again and just keep going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you to everyone that joined us and for all the comments. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. And I am really thinking about a part two because there's so much more that we could discuss and talk about. And I want to go into detail. And it's everything is done with intentionality can move us all forward. And nothing better than actually moving forward together. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening, everybody. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you again.